All right, great. Bob, thanks so much for joining me today and sharing some of your thoughts on this craziness pandemic we have going on. Could you first introduce, yourself to the
Yes,
people listening in?
thank you. My name is Bob Scinto. I'm a real estate developer in Shelton, Connecticut. I built and own approximately 42 buildings, approximately 4 million square feet, and we have about 325 tenants, and I have approximately 60 people that work for me full time.
Great. Yeah, and I know you add a lot to the community and me for advice. So I know your business and your team must be going crazy with all this. I mean, with all the tenants in and out. So how's your team feeling, and what's the general mood of your organization?
We're very upbeat. We've worked very hard to figure out as much as we can to keep the buildings as clean as we possibly can. We have good decals everywhere on where to step, where to stay. We bought a piece of equipment that will measure your temperature coming into the building, so that if you have a fever, it takes a picture of you, so that we know who's coming in and who might be a problem. We wear our mask when we leave the space, when we walk around this building. Even though there are some studies that say that this mask is, not as safe as everyone says it is, that it gets moist, and then that becomes a sponge for the virus. So unfortunately, I don't think anyone knows anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's the situation we're in. We're all learning as we go. But I have everyone back at work. We went about 2 months with a very small group in here, only about 3 people, but now we're back to 20 in the office. We keep away from each other, and we keep our hands clean. And we keep our hands off our face.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really wash on keeping your hands clean, you stand a shot of not getting it until they find a virus.
What have you done to keep the morale up so positive? Anything that you've done?
Well, we take the girls out for lunch quite a bit. We're just happy. Morale. It's springtime. It's springtime.
Yeah, that helps.
We're all healthy.
Yep.
People have been through a lot worse than this. This is not the worst thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I like to tell the Spanish flu that lost 100 million people. The Great Depression. There's plenty of time in history where we've had diversity. If you keep one thought in mind, is that this shall pass. This is going to pass. You just have to get through it together and not panic.
I think you're a great communicator with your team, like you said. I think that helps, being in touch and talking to them all the time. Any changes that you've had to implement in the way you've been doing business in the last few months?
No, my construction people have all been outside, so the safest place you can be is outside, so we don't have a problem there. Inside construction, we only put one guy on the job at a time, so we try to keep separated.
Mm-hmm.
They wear a mask, and but we don't have as many meetings. Like I'm doing a very large project in Fairfield now. It's a 148 unit that I'm building for the Jewish Home for the Elderly. And we have more meetings on the phone. More project. I don't like it because you can't communicate as well on the phone.
Right.
But it gets the job done, and we'll keep moving along.
Any changes or new ideas to generate, the revenue keep it coming in? I know a lot of companies, just keep your customer base and through this time, or cutting expenses. I know that's a big concern of mine coming in September and October for my clients.
You know, you got to have the attitude of what the Chinese, word for crisis. The word in Chinese for crisis, two symbols make up the word crisis: danger and opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this is a time that you can really make great advancements with your tenants, your customers. Now that you check in with them to see how they're doing, is anything they need, do the things that that no one else does. It gives a time right now to separate yourself from your competition. Call you up anytime, I'm just checking in, or I walk in on the tenant, just making sure it's okay, everything all right. Is there anything we can do better? Are you happy with this? Are you happy with that? But this is an opportunity that everyone's got their head in the sand. All right. So this is your opportunity to separate. The secret in business is, what do you do that's different than your competition?
Right.
This gives you a wonderful opportunity to be different than your competition.
Yeah. No, I think you're right on that. It always breeds opportunity, but you may try those crazy ideas you never thought you'd get.
Try everything. You got to be optimistic.
Yeah.
Nobody wants someone who's gloomy and, this is a great country. This is a great state. It's a great time to be alive. We have some problems we have to deal with. And if we stay focused, we can deal with the problems.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. So what advice would you give other business owners that are either, there's different stages. Some are still in lockdown. Some are in training, just warming up. Some are, out now, and, some are actually doing better than they've ever done before. I mean, any advice you would give to them?
No, just basics. I keep a yellow pad here. Every morning I write down what I need to get done for the day, so that I focus on, making sure I want to do this, and this. And I try to get those things done for the day. I think it's very important to have a little goal every day that you want to achieve something.
Mm-hmm.
I have, these are my financials for 2 months. Okay. So what I do now is I have a goal of 30 minutes a day that I take that into my accounting department, and I spend 30 minutes a day going through the financials for February and March. So I pick little goals to get it done, and I have this here. This is my goals for the year. Okay, you see that? Those are, I have about 60 tenants that I have to renew the lease for the year. So what I try to do is I look at my goals for the year. All right, that's my big picture.
Yep.
And then I write down on my yellow pad what I can do today to advance my big picture.
Right.
And I do that every morning. So that's my routine. So that, and I read the editorials. I try to stay up on foreign affairs and everything else. And try to be educated.
Yeah. But the key is to just that's what I keep telling people. Your goals shouldn't change. How you get there, they may shift.
You got to remain optimistic. Yeah. If you're not optimistic, don't be in business. Go work for somebody.
No, I agree. I think it's a great opportunity to, just got to look at it, get through this, and and focus on knowing your numbers. I think that's an impressive part. Is you got to know your numbers now. If you weren't paying attention to them before, you have to know exactly what they are now. Because who knows what's going to happen September, October, right? I mean,
right. This is a great state. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, is this mainly for people in Connecticut, or this goes beyond Connecticut?
This will go beyond Connecticut, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, this will be mostly Connecticut, but this will go beyond Connecticut, yeah.
Okay.
I think, we're all at different stages, but I think that the concept and the practical things, and I know you do them, and that's why I wanted to get you on the call today, because that's what made you so successful. And I know you do your goals, you write down, you keep things straight with the business, and I see people too rearing off and complaining, and they're gonna need to focus on their business every day.
You know, you focus on 3 things or 4 things. You got to focus on your business. You have to focus on your health. You know, I drink 4 of these a day. There's
Okay.
60 ounces in each. All right.
Yeah.
That's a lot of water. But if you know, that's the number one thing you got to do is take care of the engine. I make sure I get my vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I exercise 5 days a week. You know,
Yep.
there's no reason, and your exercise would be this simple. All you have to do is walk 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week. And that's a good amount of exercise, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, taking care of yourself is your number one responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know, improve your immune system so you can fight the virus if you get it.
Right.
Those are things you can do personally, you know? And then, of course, your family relationships, making sure you know, you keep in touch with your kids and your wife and your dogs. My dogs are my whole life.
Yeah, I'll make sure you
I
said.
come home and these 2 guys are just crazy to see me. I can't tell you.
That's your reward for doing all the business.
If you look behind me, I got pictures of dogs everywhere. I don't have any grandchildren here. They're on the yellow wall.
They'll reward it later, right?
Yeah, but I love my dogs.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Bob, I really, really thank you and appreciate, you know, your advice for people, because right now they need people like you to listen to that are, you know, that they can look up to and just follow. And like you said, keep up with the basics and you know, like you said, keep the positive attitude. It's a great opportunity. So
It's a great country. We have some problems that we have to work hard on together to solve.
Yeah.
But they're all solvable. Okay.
Yep, I agree.
Right.
All right, Bob. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want you to know something. This is the very, very, very first time I've ever done this.
Oh, okay. You did good. You did good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope I didn't make a jerk on myself.
No, I'll send it. Yeah, no, you did great. I appreciate it. And